The Green Bay Packers are 2-0, and they head to New Orleans to take on the 1-1 Saints. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's Drew Brees. It's Sunday Night Football. This is Game On Wisconsin. This is the PreSnap. Let's get into it.
We 19. We 19. Hey, Rex. Yeah. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, knee hand, knee puck. Is that long enough for you? 319. Check New York Bozo! New York Bozo! New York Bozo!
Oh, yeah, baby. We're live. This is the PreSnap. This is Game On Wisconsin. Hi, everyone. Happy game day. I'm Alex Strofe. You can find me on Twitter at Alex_Strofe. We're getting ready for the big game as New Orleans and Green Bay clash tonight in Sunday Night Football. 14 games have either started or been played this week, and we've got two really good ones tonight and tomorrow night. We'll preview the second one a little bit, but obviously we're here for the main one. Joining me, as always, here on the PreSnap, it's at Jacob Westendorf. His name is also Jacob Westendorf. Jacob, how are you, my friend?
It's good to be here, my friends. I have been waiting all day for Sunday night. And as I've been saying it all week, I'm quoting the legendary villain. I don't know if you guys are, well, Jimmy, you're my age, so maybe you are, but Alex, I don't know if you're old enough as the villain from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Ivan Ooze once said, tonight it's time to pay the piper. So I am ready to pay the piper. And I agree with Kyle in the chat. Nice haircut, Alex. You look, compared to last week where you look like you got, frankly, hit by a bus.
Yeah, I was hungover as all
You look
hell,
really good tonight. So, I mean,
I appreciate it.
If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were trying to impress a lady or something like that.
Yeah, just about. No, I showered about 40 minutes ago for the first time today because I was, you asked me this morning, Jacob, how hungover are you today? I'm better than last week. So
well, I got the note that you said that you walked to Toppers at like 2:15 or something like that.
Yeah.
I also went to a college where Toppers was in town, and I know what it was for. So just
drunk
listen,
consumption up the wall.
That ain't a pizza that you order for the taste. I know that.
No, I can't stand it sober. That's the best part. Also joining me and Jacob, he is now 1-0 in his professional MMA career. There he is. Last night in Dubuque, Iowa. Look at that picture. Look at that shot we got of him. It's the beautiful Jimmy Christensen. Jimmy, congratulations, buddy, on your first win.
Thank you.
First round TKO, not to mention.
Yeah. No, man, it's funny because after the fight, I was the first fight. My buddy was the main event. So obviously we were drinking and stuff. And afterwards in Dubuque, Iowa, there's not a lot of options. So we ended up getting a quick trip pizza at like midnight. And it was not for the taste either, but it worked.
You didn't tell me you were in Dubuque, man. That's not too far from here. I could have come and watched you whoop that guy's ass.
Because I guess we were staying in Dubuque and then our fight was in Farley. I don't know.
Yeah, neither of those are too far away from here. But one thing I do know that I'm proud to know is if Game On ever gets in a brawl with somebody, I'm glad you're on our side.
No, you shouldn't, because I'm walking the other way. I'm going to the. If it's you getting beat up, I'm walking the other way. If Alex is involved, I'll step in.
So, Jimmy, what's going on here, dude? Why are you and I appreciate that, by the way. I could use your badass around my side. This was after the fight was over. Why did you take a knee the way you did?
My opponent was still down, so I didn't want to be a dick and celebrate until he was up. So I just took a knee until he was up.
So you're just the most respectful chap we know, is what you're telling me.
It's a weird sport, man. We're getting punched in the face. I didn't want to be a dick after I won, so I just took a knee till he was up.
Fair enough. So aside from Jimmy's MMA victory, we've got some football to talk about. A lot going on in the National Football League today. All the divisional games are wrapped up. They're done with. And only one team victorious, which has seemed to be the case the last 2 weeks, because there are two 0-3 teams in the NFC North. as of one. Excuse me. I guess Detroit's game isn't over yet.
And the Lions are actually lining up as you speak to kick a game-winning field goal. So,
oh, really? Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
nice.
get that game. Do you get that game in Illinois?
I get Sunday ticket, baby. I get every game I want.
See, broke college kid can't afford it. So I've got Dallas, Seattle, but I was able to see the other two division games today. Let's start with Minnesota, man. They are just not good, Jacob.
No, and it's something. It's funny because we talked about it all offseason of which division team scares you the most, and my answer would have been the Bears. The Lions made the kick; they're not 0-3 now. So Lions beat the Cardinals, so they are now 1-2. Assuming there's not a timeout, there's not. The Vikings are not good, and they have some nice players on their team. Justin Jefferson had a huge day today, but their defense sucks, and that's going to be the case even when they get Danielle Hunter back. Obviously, that's going to be a big piece to their defense, but they don't have any defensive tackles. And I think that was something that kind of got undersold through the offseason and now they don't have Anthony Barr. So they really are just kind of soft up the middle. You saw that today with Derrick Henry, just kind of able to wear them down and run through them. He had 2 late touchdowns on that. And offensively, again, up the middle, they can't block anybody. Yeah. And I've said it all the time, and I steal this quote from Owen Reese, but show me a good team that's not good up front. And they're not good up front on either side of the ball. So they're just going to get run over. What we need now, if you're a Packers fan, is for them to win enough games to where they're not in position to get Trevor Lawrence. That's what you're rooting for if you're a Packers fan. If you're a Vikings fan, sorry, guys, you're 0-3. Your season's over. You're rooting for Trevor Lawrence at this point.
I feel like such an idiot because I was one of those people nervous about the Vikings just because they were solid last year. But, yeah, they lost so many pieces on the defense. And
what did I tell you week 1?
You're more worried about the Lions than you are the Vikings.
And I told you I was more that Green Bay was going to whip their ass, and they did. Yeah. I mean, I know the final score doesn't really say that, but they did. It was 29-10, and then it was 36-17. I mean, that game was not nearly as close as the final score says it was.
Oh no, definitely not. And it actually makes it even more impressive for Dalvin Cook, like you said, because the offensive line is not good, but Dalvin Cook has still been putting up numbers. I know that mainly because he's on my fantasy team, but he's a good back. I still think any running back at this point is overpaid, unfortunately, but
yeah,
he's still earning that contract a little, or making a contract look less bad, I guess I could say.
That's fair. Yeah, he has been really the entirety of that offense. So the Vikings 0-3, which I didn't expect. Jacob didn't expect, which he called it more so than we did. But 0-3, nobody expected. The only winless team now in the division, as Jacob mentioned. That Lions game just went final 26-23 Detroit over Arizona this week in Arizona. Detroit wins that one on the road on a walk-off field goal. So there you go. Detroit now 1-2 sits at third.
Big win for them too.
Big win for them.
That was a team that needed one.
Yeah, they stay alive with that one really in the division as Chicago moved to 3-0 today with their victory over the Atlanta Falcons, a comeback victory. The Bears post 20 points in the fourth quarter to come back from a 26-10 deficit. And what the hell is wrong with the Falcons every week? This is back-to-back weeks. They've blown 15-plus point leads in the fourth quarter. Week 1, Chicago had another comeback win over Detroit. That time it was Mitch Trubisky. And in this one, Mitch Trubisky was getting told by Matt Nagy to go ahead and take a seat because he was demoted to QB2, at least is what it looked like today, is BDN. Nick Foles comes in, and he gets the victory for Chicago. Chicago, 3-0, the worst 3-0 team in the NFL. I mean, I know they said that about us as Jacob. We were talking off camera. Mm-hmm. The Bears fans said the Packers were the worst 13-3 team in history. We might have the worst 3-0 team in history. The Bears, now their 3 opponents combined record 0-9, Jacob.
Yeah, I think that, it's not something that'll last, but you give the Bears credit from the standpoint of they've played 3 games, they've won 3 games, and that right now is all that matters. Not going to take those wins away. Today's win was a surprise because, listen, that Falcons offense, I picked the Falcons to go to the playoffs. Matt Ryan is a perennial MVP to fringe MVP type candidate. He's a very good player at that position. I know Julio Jones didn't play today, but Calvin Ridley's very good. They had a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter. They are the Detroit Lions of the South. They just find ways to screw things up. And I made the joke after the game, maybe the Falcons just should not play with a lead and see what happens from there. But I just don't know what to do with this Falcons team anymore. I know a few years ago, obviously 28-3, we know the jokes, everything like that. And I've kind of made the comment before of, I wonder if they should have fired Dan Quinn then, because the argument at the time is, well, they were winning 28-3 in the Super Bowl. They lost, which obviously the counterpoint to that is they were winning 28-3 in the Super Bowl. So they were that close to winning the Super Bowl, but they didn't. And that team has never been the same since. They got back to the playoffs. They blew a game against the Eagles. That is when I would have fired him, was after that Eagles game against Nick Foles, oddly enough. They didn't. Last year, they had another chance to fire him. They had a bit of a streak towards the end of the year. They didn't fire him then. I mean, granted, I'm not rooting for somebody to get fired and lose their job because I think that's a little cryptic, but I don't know how Dan Quinn survives this year. If I were Arthur Blank, I mean, that should be a plum job. That should be the job everyone wants as a head coaching candidate, because you look at that offense. If you come in, assuming they keep everybody, they have Matt Ryan. You have a quarterback.
Yeah.
You have an offensive line that they've invested in. There's some decent players there. Julio Jones is one of the best receivers in football when he's healthy. Obviously, he didn't play today. But even if he's not, Calvin Ridley is a good player.
Calvin Ridley has been the best receiver in football this year, Jacob.
Yeah, statistically, obviously. So they've got weapons on offense. Their defense is rancid. The Packers might put up 50 on them next Monday night.
Yeah.
I mean, even if Devontae doesn't play, they might put up 50 on them next Monday night. And I don't know what's wrong with the Falcons. They've had a lead in all 3 games in the fourth quarter. They found a way to blow last week's game against Dallas, which I still don't 100% know how they did that, but they did. Kudos to them for doing it that way, because I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. Yeah. Dan Quinn's got to go, and you got to start over. They're another team that's thinking, are they in range for Trevor Lawrence, and do they start over and try and trade Matt Ryan at his peak value? That's a conversation you can have later in the year too. I don't know, but the Falcons, that's rough. And for the Bears, kudos, you're 3-0. Matt Nagy didn't want to name a starting quarterback, but you did. You benched him you benched the guy in the middle of the third quarter. Your quarterback's Nick Foles.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% the statement made today by Chicago. Going to be interesting to see how that goes moving forward, because Trubisky's confidence now essentially killed by Matt Nagy. And it'll be interesting to see, because I imagine we'll see him thrown back into rotation before the end of the 2020 season. Jimmy, what are your big takeaways from week 3, my friend?
For the Bears, though, like we mentioned, that they're 3-0, but 2 of their victories, fourth quarter comebacks, which is insane. But I want to know, when's the last time a team in 3 weeks had a fourth quarter comeback, but led by different quarterbacks? Like that's so weird to me. Week 1, it was somehow Mitch Trubisky looked like a competent quarterback. And now this week, Big Dick Nick just did Big Dick Nick things. Can you say that on the network? I suppose you can.
I guess that's your ruling. I mean, you're not FCC affiliated, so say Big Dick Nick as much as you want.
That's his name.
It should legally, like, if anybody in the NFL is going to pull a Chad Ochocinco Johnson right now, it's got to be Nick Foles. But that's a conversation for another day. We've got a lot to break down for tonight, fellas. I mean, this is a big, big game. The Saints fell on this past Monday night to the Las Vegas, I got it this time around, Raiders. And they're 1-1. They need a win, obviously playing in a tough division. Tampa Bay got a win today. Atlanta obviously did not. And Carolina still playing right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what New Orleans pulls out of the bag tonight. They're without Michael Thomas. He is ruled out, as is Devontae Adams for the Packers. So both teams missing their best wide receivers. So it'll be interesting to see what the Saints offense brings to the table after kind of a week where they sputtered out near the end of the game against the Raiders on Monday. It's a short week, and the Packers are rolling, at least offensively, on all cylinders, putting up 40 points in the last 2 weeks. Jacob, so really, really broad question here, but what the hell can we expect out of these two teams tonight? It seems like every time New Orleans and Green Bay tango, it brings an instant classic.
It's been a little while since these two teams have played at full strength, obviously. The last time Green Bay was in New Orleans was the 2014 season, and Aaron Rodgers left that game with a hamstring injury, and they got smacked after that, obviously. The Julius Peppers red zone game is what I remember that for, and then Rodgers obviously left the game with an injury, like I mentioned. The last time the Saints came to Green Bay was the Brett Hundley era, and that was the beginning of the Brett Hundley era. So it was the Packers had 2 interceptions of Breeze early and didn't do anything off of those. And the Saints ended up tearing apart the Packers defense, quite frankly, after a pretty good.
Clearly, I'm just forgetting that the Brett Hundley period was a thing. I just completely deleted that from my memory space.
Right. So the Packers haven't won in New Orleans since Super Bowl 31. That's a long time ago. For those of you guys, was Alex, were you even alive when that game happened? That sounds like
that was 90 what?
96.
Was that
97 technically, January of 97.
It was played in 97. No, that's a year. Almost 2 years before I was born.
There you go. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm
it's
young.
been a long time since they've won here. What to expect? I think you're going to see a pissed off Saints team, and I wouldn't be surprised if the game starts very similar to the way the games have started in the last 2 games. I fully expect a Twitter meltdown, the way that I've seen the last couple of games, where everybody's given up on the game before the game really has even gotten started. But Sean Payton is as good as it gets at getting his team ready to play these kinds of games. As you've seen, the Saints are 10-0 on Sunday Night Football with Drew Brees and Sean Payton. I believe that is 10-0 at home. I'd have to check that to be 100% sure on what that stat is. But I think they'll be ready to go. I think they're going to have some stuff. And they've got some players that match, much like Green Bay does. Green Bay has some players that match up well with the Saints too. Something that Packers fans do that make me chuckle is they always focus on the players that match up well against our guys, but they never seem to focus on the fact that we've got guys that can make plays against them too. And the Packers do. Aaron Jones matches up very well with what the Saints don't do particularly well. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is off to a good start on the season. And, they have Aaron freaking Rodgers taking snaps for them. So they have the advantage at the quarterback position every single week. And they have the ability to get after the quarterback, and they have the better secondary. And there's some things of that nature too. So overall, I expect a really good game. I expect something really closely contested. And as friend of the network, Peter Bukowski suggested, this game has legitimate number 1 seed type implications on it because the NFC East is bad. Dallas may or may not be very good. That looks like the only competent team in the NFC East right now. The NFC West is an absolute dogfight. So those teams are going to beat up on each other all year long. The NFC South, that's the Saints division you would imagine to lose if you believe in Tampa Bay. God bless you. I don't. And then you've got Green Bay and Chicago right now at the top of the NFC North. This could be a game that, and Green Bay has said it all the time. Aaron Rodgers was on, I believe it was the NFL Film Sound Show from 2016 and basically said to Jordy, we've got to get one of these at home. Well, in order to get one of these at home, when is the last time the Packers have won a game like this that they weren't necessarily supposed to win on the road against a good team? Tonight's the step to do that. You want to be the number 1 seed and get an NFC championship game at Lambeau Field. This is the way you do it. You got to beat a team like the Saints in their building to make sure you don't have to go back there in January.
Well said, Jacob. Jimmy, your expectations for tonight?
It's gonna be a back and forth thing. I don't see a blowout at all happening like we had these last 2 weeks. It's gonna be something. Finally, we're gonna see. We've seen what our offense can do against a team where we've had a lead, and now I'm gonna be interested to see what we can do against a team where it's crunch time and we need to see other players step up. Like you said, we have Aaron Rodgers, but at the end of the day, we're still gonna need players around him to step up, especially in the second half. Because I know the second half was close. Sorry, my teammate just made fun of me for crushing White Claws in the comments. I know it was close last week coming out of the second half. Yeah, that's Ben. Thanks, Ben. Coming out of the second half, but I felt there's a weird switch. After we scored going into half and everything, you kind of felt like we had that game under control, and then Aaron Jones had that 75-yard touchdown. I don't see that happening in this game. I think it's going to be one where it's going to be close. Every drive is going to be important. But one thing that I really want to focus on is the first drive for our offense and our defense. So far, we've had a great offense for the game, but our first drives haven't been great, and our defense has been terrible on the first drive. So that's what I'm really going to look to. That's what I want to focus on for this game, is seeing if our first drives can kind of step up, get a touchdown finally, and also stop the damn offense for once.
Yeah, I think that's well said, Jimmy. You bring up, obviously, the first really quarter, or even first half of the first quarter, if you will. The last couple of weeks on both sides of the ball has not been superb. Detroit goes up 14-3, was it last week, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
It just hasn't been pretty out the gates for Matt LaFleur's squad. And I think this is the week, you have to prove that you belong. Even though New Orleans isn't 2-0 and they're 1-1, they're still a top-tier team in the NFC. They're still a team you've got to bring it. You've got to punch in the face and keep down. And this is going to be, I imagine, back and forth as Jimmy cracks what we think is a Truly, maybe another White Claw.
No. I finished the White Claws. I'm on to beer now. It's an MK.
Oh, good for you. You've grown up. Happy.
Yeah,
for you,
Ben shamed me. I had to put the White Claw down and switch it up, man.
Love it. But yeah, I mean, the expectations for tonight are, I think unanimously, we think it's going to be a close game. No blowout here. And, it's going to be back and forth, punch you in the mouth football from two quarterback legends in Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. So I'll toss this to you guys. X factors, and you can go both sides of the ball. You can go both teams, however you want to break it down. Name a couple names you think are going to really change the outcome of this game. And Jimmy, I'm going to start with you.
All right, man, this is 100% biased, but I really truly believe in this. This is going to be the game where we see Jamal finally show off his route running. He had some success last week. Aaron Rodgers didn't find him, but there was that clip that went out where he faked. He even talked about it on our show. He faked inside and then beat his guy deep, but Rodgers didn't get it to him. It got tipped at the line. But this is the one when Devontae was out last week. He had Rodgers mentioned on the Pat McAfee show. He had about 4 games in a row with a receiving touchdown. This could be the game where he steps up and shows, like, this is what I worked on this offseason. So I look for Jamal to step up big with Devontae not playing tonight in the passing game, as well as Allen Lazard's been super consistent, and he hasn't had bad games in the slightest, but he also hasn't had that game where it's like, oh, this is what Allen Lazard's like. He hasn't had like big plays like MVS had, I should say. I know he had that week one where he kind of stumbled and fell, but for a big game. But I think we're looking for a game from him now to kind of make some more splashes and complement MVS.
Yeah, I think that Allen Lazard note is interesting because him and MVS both with 7 catches on the year through 2 games. I think they both obviously, well, not I think, they both need to step up. This is a bona fide fact. Yeah. They need to step up with Devontae absent tonight. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how Rodgers relies on those guys, Allen Lazard and MVS. We've seen him go back to MVS the last 2 weeks after some crucial drops. We've seen him target him more than any other receiver not named Davante Adams this year. So it's going to be interesting. I think the other thing I'm really looking forward to as well is with Davante out, how the running backs will play in the passing game. We saw Aaron Jones make some nice grabs last week. He has more receptions than both Allen Lazard and MVS this season. Aaron Jones has 8 receptions. The other 2 have 7 each. So it'll be interesting to see how guys like Tyler Urban and Aaron Jones make their way into the game through the air. Jacob, what are you looking for from the offense?
On the offensive side of the ball, what I'm looking for is on big downs, what I've often heard, and I've heard it described by multiple people this way, coaches and stuff included, is that your money downs go to your money players. Well, the Packers are missing one of their money players tonight. Davante Adams is not playing. And what they do is it's not so much the plays that they're calling, but the plays that they're calling for. So, for example, think back last year to the Kansas City Chiefs game in Kansas City. It's a big 3rd down to try and clinch the game. It wasn't the play that they called. It was they called a play for Aaron Jones, the passing play for Aaron Jones to get a 1st down. I'm curious to see who does Green Bay think are their money players now? Because obviously last year, another example is the Seattle game. So 2 3rd downs on that final drive. You've got the deep ball to Davante Adams, and they thought the other one was Jimmy Graham. So say what you will about Jimmy Graham. They thought Jimmy Graham was one of their money players. They went to him on a 3rd down to try and clinch the game. Thank God that worked. Thankfully, he's not around anymore either because thinking he's a money player, that's a separate thing. But I'm curious to see who they think their money players are. Aaron Jones, you guys have mentioned, it's very obvious. He's their best player on offense tonight, not named Aaron Rodgers. Who's the other one? Who's the other guy in the passing game that's going to have to set up? Is that Marquez Valdez-Scantling? Is that Allen Lazard, who's been a brick on 3rd down? He's been absolutely – and brick, probably not a good adjective to use for a wide receiver, but it's a positive thing. It means he's rock solid. He's been awesome on 3rd downs. Robert Tonyan, Jay Sternberger, is it somebody like that? I look for somebody like Sternberger to have a little bit of redemption this week, and maybe that's me sticking a little too much to my pre-draft evaluation of Sternberger. Maybe it's me sticking too much to the fact that we were able to interview him this offseason and I have so much belief in him. But I do think that this could be a week of redemption for him where he puts last week behind him, makes a couple plays, because that's the reality is the Packers' active wide receivers tonight are Lazard, Valdez-Scantling, Malik Taylor, and Darius Shepard. The other 2 guys, Malik Taylor and Darius Shepard, haven't played a whole hell of a lot this year. Obviously, Shepard just came up now. Yeah. I think you're going to see a lot of 2 tight ends, a lot of 22 and 12 personnel throughout the game. You're going to see a lot of stuff to running backs and a lot of stuff to tight ends. That means opportunities for guys like Sternberger and Robert Tonyan. Nothing against Mercedes Lewis, but that was awesome. Russ Wilson just threw a touchdown pass to DK Metcalf to take a lead. Great game brewing in Seattle against Dallas there. So you guys got a chance.
My TV is behind. So
glad you guys are focused on our show.
Yeah, very, very much so. I'm going to watch Russell Wilson.
Either look at the TV or look at you. So I'm sorry.
I don't blame you then. TV's a good one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
He was a
He
better
was
choice.
patient. Wow.
anyways, you're going to have opportunities for guys like that to make plays. Nothing against Mercedes Lewis, but he's not going to make an impact in the passing game. That's just not going to happen. Mercedes Lewis is going to make an impact in the running game and make kind of I call them garbage catches. Like it's like garbage baskets in basketball. That's what I expect, things like that to happen. So I'm looking for players like that. And I'm interested to see who the Packers think those players are now that Devontae Adams isn't able to play. And we're going to see the last couple of weeks on the Twitter machine, there's been two schools of thought. Obviously, the people that thought the Packers were okay at pass catcher and the people who didn't. Today, some of the players like T. Higgins, Justin Jefferson had some big games, and people are pointing out that the Packers could have used guys like that. And then the last 2 weeks, obviously, the Packers have been fine on offense, saying, oh, see, they're fine at pass catcher. Well, tonight we might find out, are they really fine at pass catcher without Devontae Adams? This will be a first step in seeing.
Absolutely. Well said, Jacob. This is the pre-snap on Game On Wisconsin. You can find us on all socials at Game On WI or at GameOnWI.com for exclusive articles and content daily. All things Packers, all you need at GameOnWI.com. I'm Alex Strofe, joined by Jacob Westendorf and Jimmy Christensen, breaking down tonight's Sunday night football matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the New Orleans Saints. We're talking X factors, and Jacob, I'm so glad you brought up the tight end group because that was going to be my next question for you and Jimmy. I'm very interested to see how Bobby Biceps does tonight after that touchdown catch a week ago.
What a name.
Isn't that a great nickname?
What a name.
Bobby Biceps. Yeah, I think he gets back in the end zone this week, man.
I suppose people call me like Jelly Jacob or something like that. That's better. That's not better than Bobby Biceps.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I have my Robert Tanyan nickname for him. It's a spinoff of our Nick Foles nickname. I'll say it off the air for you, Jacob.
Nope.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and stop that. Yeah.
I'll tell you guys off the air.
Yeah, great. Really, really, really look forward to that, Jimmy. Thanks.
It's good.
Wow, you've totally disrupted the show for me to get excited about it. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. But yeah, I think Bobby Biceps gets back in the end zone tonight with Devontae's absence. I think the rushing game, obviously, going to be a very top-notch thing for both squads, right? With Michael Thomas and Devontae Adams both out of this one. They're going to look to the rushing attack as they did on Monday night, as New Orleans did this past Monday night against Las Vegas, and as Green Bay has been trying to decipher through, their backs and see how to use them. Aaron Jones found his footing last week, really just breaking out, having, the performance of the year, if you will. Last week did Aaron Jones. But it'll be interesting to see guys like Tyler Irvin and Jamal Williams, who we have dancing pregame. For Jimmy, here he is. Look at him getting at. This is the end zone cam in New Orleans. They have big monitors set up. This is Jamal Williams about an hour
Look at those shoulders.
And we talked, or you guys talked to Jamal on Tuesday.
Yeah, my guy's dancing like that to like Metallica and like some of those headbanger bands and stuff like that. So I got to ask him how that works because, I have a similar music taste, and I don't think I can get those kind of moves. So
yeah, I'm not nearly that coordinated. Yeah.
Did you guys see that video of him dancing and then the bee came by him? He like scurried away while he was still dancing.
No, that's funny.
Oh my gosh.
Jamal Williams might be my favorite human.
Oh yeah.
He's
for sure.
He encapsulates everything that's good about a human being.
I can't wait to talk to him again on Tuesday after this game. It's going to be fun.
Rephrase after this victory. Let's get into some predictions. How'd you guys do last week? I'm horrible at keeping track. I know I went 0-2 last week. I'm 1-3 on the year.
I went 1-1, I think.
I was also 1-1.
Yeah.
That makes you both 2-2 on the year, though.
Correct.
I was close. You talk crap to me, Jacob, about my upset, but I was 3 points away from the Jaguars being the Titans.
Yeah, and my upset pick was the Panthers over the Bucks. And
that panned out really well.
That game was over in the first quarter. So
yeah, so you can't talk crap anymore to me. At least for this week. Next week you can do it again.
Yeah, but you picked the Jaguars solely based on Gardner Minshew. How do you look Thursday? How do you look Thursday night?
I don't want to talk about it. But
yeah, okay.
His mustache looked good. I can tell you that.
So if he shaves, does he suck now? Is that
Gardner Minshew isn't a good quarterback? He looked fine from a box score standpoint, but he did not look good on Thursday night.
Let's say this.
Beautiful.
Gardner Minshew, if he's your backup, you feel really good about that.
Yeah.
If he's your starter, your team's bad and you're probably looking for a better. There's value in that from the standpoint of he's a top 32 quarterback in the NFL, but he still stinks as a starter.
They're ready for Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. They just accidentally won week 1.
Yeah, now they're screwed because the Jets are going to get him because of that.
No, Jets will somehow win 2 games. Jaguars can just lose out. And they'll be
or
fine.
maybe, while it's a possibility, the Vikings are in that contest for Trevor Lawrence.
Oh,
that's
I
true.
mention that. Yeah.
The Vikings would pick a left guard or something like that. They get the number 1 pick. Well, we had Kirk Cousins. Why would we pick a quarterback?
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Because he cost you so much damn money. So back to picks. Now, obviously, there's only 2 games left on the schedule this weekend. So rather than our locks and upsets, which we usually do on Sundays, this week it will be the 2 remaining games. That will be our 2 picks. So, of course, we're not going to start with the Packers because we've still got plenty of time to jump into our picks for that and how we think it's going to go down and why we think it's going to go that way. Let's go to the Monday night one, man. I mean, the 2 teams that are pretty much unanimously renowned as the top 2 teams in the NFL, as Baltimore hosts the reigning champion Kansas City Chiefs tomorrow night on ESPN. So I'm intrigued to see what you guys think is going to happen here. I'm going to go ahead and resort to the last pick because I haven't made my mind up on this one yet, but Baltimore hosts the Chiefs tomorrow. Jacob, we'll start with you.
I'm so excited for this game. I've talked about this recently. I think this is the new Brady Manning. For years, the AFC really is, and it has been for 2 decades now, a 2-horse race, sometimes with a sprinkle of Pittsburgh every now and again, right? And sometimes you throw a little Baltimore in there every now and again. Now Baltimore just happens to be one of those teams. But Lamar Jackson and Patty Mahomes is going to be the next Brady Manning. And I think that you're going to see these 2 teams competing for AFC championships for years and years to come. Last year, obviously, we didn't get that. The Titans beat the Ravens before that game had a chance to happen. I'm still interested to see how that would have gone, but I'm excited. I can't wait to see this game. I'm not more excited for this game than the Packers game, obviously, but from a football standpoint, you don't get matchups like these very often. And it's an unfortunate way that the schedule, because we talk about it all the time. I'd love to see matchups like Rodgers against Breeze, Rodgers against Brady, things like that all the time, but we don't. And we used to get it yearly with Manning and Brady. And then we get him again in the playoffs with Manning and Brady. And Manning, actually, a lot of people don't seem to remember this, but Manning had the upper hand. They ended up winning more games in the playoffs against Tom Brady head-to-head than Tom Brady's teams did against Peyton Manning. So there's a side note for everybody who thinks Tom Brady's the GOAT. So throw that one in there for you.
So apparently you don't, but that's a conversation for another day.
I do not think Tom Brady's the GOAT. He's the fraudulent GOAT. So we can have that
conversation. Who's the real GOAT?
But
we can have the conversation later, but who's the real GOAT to you?
Here's what I'll say. The most accomplished quarterback ever is Tom Brady.
Yes.
Yeah. The best quarterback, the quarterback who's mastered the position the most, is Peyton Manning. The most talented quarterback that's ever played is playing tonight in New Orleans, and his name is Aaron Rodgers. So you can
Taysom Hill, yes.
Taysom Hill. How could I forget about the great Taysom Hill? Yes. But anyways, back to the game. We can have
that's the only name drop he gets on this show, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I had to do it at least once.
Giving him attention. Yeah. He'll have 3 plays that he's involved in, and that'll be it. He's a flash in the pan. Go on.
Correct. So we could talk more about that on another show. I think that would be a decent topic for maybe an off-season show or something. But anyways, that's what I think this is. Lamar and Patrick Mahomes. And I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. I don't personally think it's particularly close at this point. And that's with all due respect to guys like Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson. I just think Patty's a cut above right now. And that Chiefs offense is loaded. Even when they're behind and not doing particularly well, it just always feels like they're in control because they're just a play away. It feels like they're just a second away from a 60-yard touchdown. And they have multiple guys that can do that. Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Travis Kelce can wreck you on third downs. And then, of course, they have Patrick Mahomes who can throw the ball behind his back for 60 yards right on the money as well. So you add all that in together, and then you go in on the other side and you have the Ravens who, from a top to bottom, might be the best organization in all of the NFL and might have the best roster in all of football. This team is so good. These teams are so loaded. I look forward to 2.0. For tomorrow night, though, I'm never betting against Patrick Mahomes. So I'm taking the Chiefs. I think it'll be a really good, kind of a high scoring back and forth kind of affair. I look forward to a 38-35 Chiefs win at the buzzer.
Yeah, Chiefs are underdogs in this one too. That's worth mentioning. Sorry, Jimmy, go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say, I'm actually going to go with the Ravens on this one. Oh, what's up, dude? I'm going to go with the Ravens on this one, mainly because I think their strong suit, obviously, no doubt, is a run game with Dobbins, and now they have, with Ingram. Yeah. Then like Lamar Jackson is Houdini when he runs the ball. I just think they're going to have they're going to control the ball. We saw last week the Chiefs had trouble stopping the Chargers run game. That's the only reason I think that they were in that game last week was their running ability, and the Ravens do that much better than the Chargers do. I think they're going to pull it out. I think there's going to be a big statement win, especially after crapping the bed. I'll censor myself. Crapping the bed against the Titans in the That's for you, Jacob. Crapping the bed against the Titans in the playoffs last year. They're going to show like, look, we are a team that's going to perform when we have to. We can be clutch when we need to. I'm going to give it to the Ravens on this one. I do think it's going to be a high scoring game. Probably I'd say 42-35. Let's go 38 because they have a
that's high, but I like it.
Yeah, they have a magnificent kicker, the Chiefs do. So I'll give them one field goal. 42-38 Ravens.
Let me run this by you guys too.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think in the AFC is the most likely team to knock off one of these two teams?
Oh, wow, that's a
great question.
Because I do have an answer in mind, but I wondered what you guys thought.
Yeah, one comes to mind for me, maybe two.
Yeah, Jaguars.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
That's exactly. Yeah. I was more in the New York Jets bandwagon, but
right.
Also,
right. I mean, why not the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, might as well toss them in there too.
Yeah, the
Mr.
Pittsburgh
Burrow.
Steelers is my answer. I think they could maybe have one game where that defense just shows up and just completely erases one of those teams. Has a bad game from Mahomes or Jackson. Very similar to the way the Titans did things last year.
Yeah, they came to mind for me as well. I had Buffalo.
Buffalo. That was the other. Yeah, because Josh Allen apparently looks to be the team that could, or the guy that could kind of keep them score for score with the team.
He's looked really freaking good. And it took and Josh Allen from year 1 to year 2 took such a big step, and it looks like he's taken an equal, if not greater, step from year 2 to year 3. The guy out of Wyoming, out of all places. So Josh Allen, a really cool story in Buffalo. And they got another big win today, man. Buffalo really looking like a solid team in the AFC. So
they blew a 28-3 lead.
Yeah,
and then they got
they didn't lose.
back.
They didn't Atlanta it. You're right. They got the W at least.
They just wanted to keep it a little surprising for the fans. They wanted to make them stress a little bit. Throw some more people through tables, all the good stuff.
Sure, why not? So we got it 1-1, Alex. You've got to pick a winner.
All right, that's right. I guess we're still on this topic, aren't we?
You've been sucking with picks, so go with Jake so I win.
Oh, geez. We don't have a bet on this, Jimmy. You don't win anything.
Well,
I win in my heart.
I think I am going to go with Jacob. I think it sounds really. It makes me a really, really tough. It's not tough argument, man. I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. Did I miss something?
Dak Prescott just escaped a sack, rolled to his left. He threw an interception in the end zone.
Oh, good.
Idiot.
As I said, my TV is a little bit behind, so he's rolling right now. Wow, eluded that. Still on his feet somehow. Oh no!
Spoiler alert!
Oh yeah, that's an interception. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it. So it looks like Seattle will move to 3-0. Dallas now 1-2. Mike McCarthy at the helm there. Looks like the Packers made a good decision, laughing their way. Sunday Night Football 2-0, and that's where we turn our direction. That's where we turn our attention, rather, not our direction.
Here, I got a quick question. Who in the comments? Nate Lloyden, who went to Fresno State? Who are we talking about?
Well, Devontae Adams went to Fresno State, as did Derek Carr.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Nate, explain that for me.
Nate, tell us what the hell you're talking about, bro.
Yeah, man.
All right.
You've been drinking, huh?
The one.
Keep going, sorry.
This is the one. Packers, Saints, Sunday Night Football. The Packers, they've really looked electric the last 2 weeks. The Saints are coming off a tough Monday Night Football loss, a short week for them. Both teams without their top wide receivers. Both teams without very crucial defensive linemen. I mean, this is about as tough as it gets. So we'll hand it to the man that knows tough situations better than anybody else.
I hate you so much,
Jimmy.
I hate you so much.
Who wins this game? What's the score and what's the reasoning?
All right. This might be a little bit.
Josh Allen didn't go to Fresno State anyway. Go on, Jimmy.
This one's a little bit of. I think there's definitely some bias in it. I can't take it out. I'm gonna go with the Packers on this one. It's gonna be a tough matchup. I'm actually gonna predict an overtime game on this one. We're gonna go.
Okay, go on. I don't have the blood pressure for that, but go on.
Okay,
we might have a few aneurysms. Pop up.
Oh, I'll be dead by the end of it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can talk at my funeral. No, I think it's gonna go back and forth. The Saints are just too well of a coach team. Drew Brees, even though he's not a deep ball passer, that we don't have to worry about that, but he's so accurate and he's such a smart quarterback. I think it's going to be our defense is going to struggle a little bit. I do think Zadarius is going to get those sacks that he put on Instagram when he marked down this date back during the offseason. But I think it's going to be tough. I think the Packers are going to pull it out, though. Touchdown during overtime, 37-31 Packers.
Okay, I like it.
Who scores the game winner?
Yeah.
Who scores the game winner? Well, they're going to sign me. I'm going to rush down to New Orleans really quick and then play. No, I think it's going to be Rodgers is going. I think it's going to be Aaron Jones. It's going to be handoff to Aaron Jones.
Okay.
And that's when those come out.
Did you have that ready this whole time?
Of course.
Oh my gosh!
I
would say they don't call him the best in the business for nothing. That's why we pay him the big bucks around here.
That was beautiful.
That's totally what they call me. Jacob. Oh man, I'm really. I need you to waste as much time as you can because I can't make a decision. Go ahead.
Gotcha. I've bounced around all week. So Tuesday I was on a radio station down in New Orleans and I picked the Saints to win, and then on Pulse of the Pack yesterday I picked the Packers to win.
Oh,
and good. I kind of got talked into it. So I've kind of gone 1 for 1 throughout the course of the day. And here's what I think is that Drew Brees is going to have a good game. I think that he's heard the talk all week that he can't play anymore. He's not good enough. His arm's shot, and that's fine. His brain still works, and he's still one of the better quarterbacks in all of football because of his brain. And I think that is all factual. However, I do think at some point that his arm does come into play. And games like these come down to who can make a play with his arm or who is more likely to turn the ball over. And the answer to that question throughout their careers has always been Drew Brees. So I think the Packers have enough playmakers still on their defense, even without Kenny Clark. They have Rashawn Gary. They have Zadarius Smith. They have Preston Smith. They have Jair Alexander. I think Darnell Savage can make a play or two tonight that'll help them kind of turn the tide a little bit. And then I think on offense, you have Aaron Jones still. You've got the tight ends who can step up and make a couple plays there. And I think they'll get just enough on offense to find a way to work this thing without Devontae Adams and get a field goal as time expires and beat the Saints 31-28 and get to a big 3-0. And finally, again, when is the last time the Packers won a game that they weren't supposed to win, quote unquote, on the road against a tougher opponent? I think that it's been a while. And it's time for them to do it. And I think that this is the team to do it. So I like the Packers to win this game as well.
Oh man, that puts the pressure on. I like that prediction. How can't you? Me wearing my Ty Montgomery, who's on the injury reserve list for New Orleans tonight, jersey here. It makes me want to bring up a side note. While I can delay my pick because I don't know who the hell I'm going to pick yet. Today in Denver, the cast of South Park was there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they cut out over 1,200 South Park character cutouts in Denver today.
They lost too. Shame on them for that.
They did, and they hit the under, so I lost that bet. So I'm really, really thrilled about that.
Did you guys see Jamal Williams had a cutout at the BYU game? Matt Schneidman. Yeah, Matt Schneidman, whatever his name is. Schneidman. He shared it on Twitter yesterday.
I missed that. That's great. Yeah, I did see they played yesterday.
Call yourself anyway, a producer.
All right. And you call yourself a fighter.
No, I don't. I hate you. Okay, I apologize. Take that shit off. Crap off. Sorry, Jacob. Take the crap off.
All right, Packers Saints. Here's my pick. It's a tough one, and I rarely pick against the Packers, but I'm doing it tonight. I think the Saints get it done tonight, and as we've mentioned throughout, I think it's a close one. I just think the Packers fall just short. I think their offense sputters tonight. I don't think we see a 40-point performance, but we still see efficiency, and we still see things we like. But the Saints, they're a top team in the NFC, like I said earlier, and I think that win on Monday made people think they aren't, and now they're playing at home against or in prime time. So I think this is an obvious situation where Drew Brees is going to go vintage Brees. And I think the Saints will walk away with the victory. But like I said, I think when these teams are at least mostly healthy and they meet, it turns into an instant classic. I'll take the Saints in a final of 27-21 tonight.
One bit of news that just broke as we were talking, guys. Lucas Patrick is lined up as the starting right guard.
Okay.
Billy Turner is your starting right tackle.
In
warm-ups. So whether or not that carries over to the game, but the last couple of weeks, obviously it has. I'm a little surprised because Rick Wagner's played as well as he has. So
that's very interesting. We haven't seen Billy Turner yet this year, so it'll be interesting to see what happens on that Packers line.
That's
But
really
we are
surprising.
But we are under 15 minutes from kickoff, baby. It is time to go head to the restroom. I've got to go, pull apart my chicken because I've got a taco soup being brewed right now in my crock pot.
Lovely.
So,
The taco
I know.
soup?
I'm making taco soup. Yeah.
Man, you are
I'm gonna
so
go.
cultured. That is beautiful.
Appreciate
I like
that.
Janelle more than Alex. That's all I know based off.
Yes,
of
I understand. And I like most people more than you, Jacob. So I appreciate that compliment. Guys, always a pleasure to chop it up with you. Everybody that's tuned in for the last 45 minutes, appreciate you coming by, chatting some Packers football. Go grab yourself a beverage. Go grab yourself a chair. It's Sunday Night Football. It's prime time. It's the Packers. It's the Saints. It's NBC. It's Sunday Night Football. I'm Alex Strofe. That's Jacob Westendorf. On the bottom there is Jimmy Christensen. This is Game On Wisconsin. You can find us on all socials at Game On WI or at GameOnWI.com. We'll see you soon. It's been fun. It's been real. Let's go get a Packers victory, baby. Woo!